let's play some basketball! Not the right sport, but you got the message. Hi everyone and welcome back to Domenic Ruviews, the show where we talk about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. In today's video, we are going to be talking about episode 4, the Ball. Now today's episode was all about balls and sports. Things that I don't know that much about except for soccer. As you can see here, my eleganza look today that I decided to do for this review is actually an old jersey of mine back when I played travel soccer back a few years ago, and I have a soccer ball to prove it. So obviously for today, there is going to be a lot of looks. I think there were like 36 fashion looks because it was mainly a fashion ball challenge. So obviously I'm not going to talk about some outfits as much as I would like to because we are going to be very limited and short on time. I got a lot of outfits to review, y'all. A lot of things to look over. Got a lot of opinions. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on in. So I think I'm going to be reviewing the first two looks, the Lady Baller and the Basketball Wife Realness looks, just a little bit more quick pace because they're not the main look that they had to make for the challenge. So I'm just gonna go through those really quickly. I'm gonna go queen by queen individually, talk about all three looks at once, and then talk about their main ball one, the Ball Eleganza look, their third look, mainly at the end is the one I'm gonna talk the most about. Alright, so without further ado, let us jump right on in with our very first queen. Let's talk about Aiden Zane. Now I know there are a lot of opinions going around about Aiden Zane right now, but honestly, I'm going to review these looks as is, and I'm not gonna talk about any outside drama going on with whatever's happening in the community, whatever people feel in their opinions. For the first look for the Lady Baller, I think this is my favorite out of the three of her looks. I think she looks great. It's very vintage baseball. I completely agreed with the judges that it was awesome. She wore 3 different wigs this time for all the looks, and so y'all can stop complaining. I really like the first look. I think it's great. I think it's a success. For her second look, I didn't really like it as much. The Basketball Wife, I did like the hair. I thought it was nice seeing a blonde on her. I thought that was interesting. I didn't mind the dress. I didn't think it was terrible. The red shoes don't really match, and that kind of bothered me. And also the paper bag she's carrying around didn't really do it for me. But it wasn't my favorite look. Moving on. Her last look made me so mad because I completely agree that her style may be a little simplistic, and I see where she's going with like her face and the hair and whatever she's doing up here may sell the outfit, but it just looks a little bit unfinished on the bottom half. I do really like the black and white tones and the whole referee theme. I really like that, but the bottom is just black balls hanging off, and ma'am, you can't just have your balls hanging out and expect it to be a high grade fashion look. So I definitely did agree with the judge's placement that she was lower. Maybe she should have been lip syncing. I don't know. I definitely could have seen her lip syncing today based off of her looks. But overall, I'm glad that Aiden is still here because I really do think that she's creative. I do like her as a queen, and I would like to see her continue. Let's move on to Miss Britta Filter. Now, Britta's first look, I really didn't hate. I think her first look was my favorite out of her 3 looks. I didn't really like a lot of what Britta did today on the runway, but this one I didn't mind. I thought that the dress was kind of cute. I like the tube socks and the big puffy sleeves with the baseball patterns. I thought it was kind of adorable. I didn't mind it that much. First look, I think, was most successful for me personally. Second look, I didn't really like that much. It just seemed like a yellow dress with some nice hair, and you're flipping some money on me. It didn't really seem that great to me. It didn't really seem like a basketball wife, like, you know, zhuzhed up. It just felt like actual basketball wife with nothing added on top of it. Like, we're drag queens walking down a runway. Come on, we need a little bit more, Britta. As for her third look with the pineapple, I hate to say this, but I absolutely hate this outfit. When she walked down the runway today, I was like, Britta, what is this? I mean, as you can see, Britta today struggled with finding out what is the difference between corn and pineapple. She also looks like she's got a little bit of a virus going on top of her head, which is a bad thing to discuss right now, but sorry, that's just what it looked like. I was not a fan of this look at all. To me, it was very Monet Exchange sponge dress if it were just interpreted a different way. It really didn't cater to my fancy at all. She again is doing like things attached to big heels on her feet. Sis has got massive feet apparently. Do I think Britta deserved to be lip syncing today? Absolutely, yes. She did not have as strong of looks as I kind of was hoping that she would. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I always want these queens to be successful. I'm always looking for the best in them, but today just was not Britta's day, and that's just my personal opinion that I do think she deserved to be lip syncing today. Let's talk about Crystal Method. Talk about a turn turnaround. From last week to this week, I think Crystal Method really stepped it up. Her bowler look wasn't really my favorite, but I do think she switched it up. It showed a certain bit of campiness that I really enjoyed. I love those pants, and I would probably wear those myself too anytime I'm going to a party. Her basketball wife realness kind of was a little meh to me. The dress was alright. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't my favorite thing. I did really like how she did switch up her makeup a little bit to it is still her, but it is a softer side that I really like seeing that versatility. I think she looks great in the wig, and overall it was really nice seeing a different side of Crystal Method that I didn't think we'd get to see. Overall, second look, really enjoyed it. As for her balls to the wall eleganza, I think this is so fun and was one of my favorite looks walking down the runway today. It was so much fun to watch this. Her outfit is so cute. It is rainbow. It's like if you fell inside of the ball pit and then you just let everything stick to you and you come back up and there you are, there's your outfit. It's like she took everything inside of the ball pit and just made a dress out of it, and I absolutely am here for it. She looks like rainbow sherbet ice cream. I think that this was a really good day for Crystal Method. I was so happy to see her come around for last week, and I'm super glad that she stayed around because we wouldn't have gotten to see the excellence that this is. I'm really happy for Crystal Method. I think this was a major success. Now let's talk about the winner of our challenge today, which was Gigi Good. I'm in love with Miss Gigi Good. I think everything she does is fantastic. As I've stated in all my previous reviews, I look forward to whenever she comes around that corner and to see what she's going to be wearing. So her first look is a Heathers inspired look, which as a giant musical theater and cult movie fan, I was in love with this. Obviously, the second she turned the corner and I saw it was the croquet mallet and the plaid and the ponytail in the back, I was like, this is Heathers. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Honestly, I think it was really good and one of the best looks out there on the runway today. I did see some people commenting that it was a very similar silhouette to what she had last week, but I think it is a different fashion and a different inspiration and a different style. So therefore, I think, you know, it's good. It's something completely different. It's a whole different concept than it was last week, and I didn't mind it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Heathers fan. Her second look for the basketball wife realness, I was in love with this. I remember they showed a little teaser trailer for the season, and they showed Gigi walking down the runway in this dress, and I was kind of waiting to see when it would show up. And honestly, it did not disappoint. I think this dress is fantastic. I think she looks high fashion. I think she looks rich. I think she looks expansive. And I really like the snake skin. I think it's good, successful, really good. As for her last look, I do think that it could have been more exciting. I do think it was just a dress, again, with some balls glued on it, but you know, she does look really fabulous in it. Do not get me wrong, it is a fantastic look and it looks really good on her. But I don't know, I guess I was kind of expecting more with just Gigi Good being the fashion icon she is. I was expecting a bit of a more pop to the final balls to the wall eleganza, but overall, 3 looks absolutely fabulous and amazing, and she totally deserved to win this week. Now let's talk about Heidi N Closet, my absolute favorite queen. In terms of her first look, I think this golfing look was really fun, really campy, really hilarious. I thought it was just really cute. Overall, I think it was a success. For her second look for the basketball wife realness, Heidi came out looking different than I ever expected to see her. She looked sexy, like she looked hot as a basketball wife. I will not even joke, when she came out in that like straight-haired wig, I don't think we've seen Heidi yet do a look like this or absolutely just stunning. She really looked gorgeous. I love the sunglasses. I love just the attitude she had when she walked out, and I think it was overall a really successful look. As for her last look for the balls to the wall eleganza, I did think that she didn't need some of the things on the outfit. I didn't really like the shoulder whatever thing it was. I thought that was a little much. Maybe some hair would have been nice. I wasn't a fan of the bald cap. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't an absolute fan of it. But overall, I mean, the body and in terms of the outfit itself, I did like the meticulously placed balls on the outfit. I did like how many times I say the word ball in this review. I did like how they were placed in certain lines and shapes on the outfit, and I think that was really strategically placed and really smart of her. And overall, I think the outfit was a success. It wasn't the best thing I saw today, but it also wasn't the worst. And I also just love Heidi N Closet. I love anything she does, so I was totally here for it. Next, we have the queen of vintage outfits. We have Jackie Cox. For her first look, I was in love with this like lacrosse player. It's bringing me back to my high school days when I had a bunch of friends who played sports sports, and honestly, seeing this was really, really cool. I like the color on her overall, think it was really successful. For the second look, again, Jackie Cox, like same with Heidi N Closet. When they walked out for the basketball wife, I was like, they look hot right now. I mean, honestly, I could see Jackie Cox's basketball wife just being like kind of a basketball mom, bringing like, kind of like Regina George's mom, like the tray of martinis, just walking out at the pool party, being like, anybody want a drink? Like, I don't know, that's just what I pictured when she walked out, and I was completely in love with the idea. As for her last look, we've got a typical Jackie Cox hair, which I was totally in love with, but she got the balls sprinkled inside of it. I didn't really get balls to the wall eleganza when she walked out. It didn't scream it to me, but then again, I mean, it's a successful look. I really, really liked it. The color looks good on her. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty dress. I like it so much. But I don't know, to me, it feels like it didn't really correlate to the theme a whole bunch. I do get the little balls here and there, but I just wish there would have been more, you know? But overall, not a bad look at all. It looks fantastic. Jada Essence Hall. Now, I think that her looks were really successful across the board. She definitely deserved to be one of the top remarks this week. For her first look, again, really successful. A sexy basketball player. I totally was in love with the idea and thought it was so funny how she tried playing as she went down the runway. I thought that was so good. For her second look, again, pure beauty. But then again, that's what she is, the essence of beauty. She looks so good in all these looks. Her makeup and hair just always looks fantastic, regardless of what Jada is doing. So again, yeah, big fan of the second look. I think she looks beautiful. As for the third look, I think this was so well put together. I love the theme of like, you're just in a bath and you're enjoying yourself. You're just so covered in bubbles. It's a relaxing time. I thought it was a really pretty dress. I like the head wrap. I think that suits the theme of being in a bubble bath. I love the little sponge thing that she had. Again, Monet Exchange, soaking it up. I thought it was really beautiful, and this was a really good week for Jada. Now let's move on to Jan. Do I think that Jan deserved to be safe this week? No, I think she should have been in the top. She had some amazing looks, and I will fight anybody on that. I don't understand how Jan has not gotten more recognition. I am absolutely in love with everything she does. For her first look, yes, I may be a little bit biased because I am a soccer player, but I love this. It kind of looks like armor in a sense. I really like that about how she took the fabric of a soccer ball and just like the pattern and made it into this armor-esque kind of look. I was in love with it. I love the split Cruella de Vil black and white wig. This was probably my favorite Lady Baller look right here. For the second look, I totally loved this sparkly jumpsuit. She looks like one of those moms who is really rich and driving around in like a sports car driving their kids to school. And then she had the little ball that says Janelle. I overall thought it was really well put together, and she did really look expensive. And I think the dress, that is not a dress at all whatsoever. I'm lying. I don't know anything about fashion. But overall, she looks absolutely gorgeous, and I could totally buy into the theme that she is a rich basketball wife. For the last look, I think this was so innovative and such an interesting way to go, which is what I think about most of Jan's looks. I really like the way that she goes about them and really tries to go with a different theme. I wasn't a big fan of just having the face be the makeup and having like her body just be, you know, not painted at all and being her normal skin tone. I thought if she would have painted everything, it would have been amazing. But I understand that this is the last look out of 3, and obviously you don't have all the time in the world. You just have, I think it's like a few minutes you get in between looks. But blue is my favorite color. I may be biased in that sense, but I really thought that this was an amazing look. I really liked the geometry of it. I love the skirt. I think that was my favorite part of it, was just the different fabric for the skirt part. Overall, all of Jan's look were successful to me. I really, really love Jan, and this was such a good week for her, and I am waiting patiently for the week that Jan gets the recognition that she deserves. Nikki Doll, our other top for this week. I think that, again, overall, all her looks were fairly successful, pretty, you know, well done. For her first look, I was in love with it from here to here. I think she looks gorgeous. I love the makeup. I love the swooshy hair, very Justin Bieber back in the day. I loved the sparkly kind of spiked football wear. I love that. But then from the bottom down, it did seem a little boring. I wish there was a little more down there. It kind of reminded me of her first runway look for the sparkle runway, how she had so much going on up here that I loved and had nothing down below. And it was just very similar to that. For her second look, I completely loved this. I think it was really fun. I love the red fur. I love the kind of like cheetah print on the leggings. I think that's really fun and cute. overall, I thought this was really good. Again, looks expensive, which I think that's the whole point of being a basketball wife, is you know you're rich. Your man's bringing in all this money. You're gonna make yourself look really good. For the next look, I personally did not believe that this was the most fantastic thing I saw on the runway today. Yes, she looks gorgeous, she looks pretty, she is Nikki Doll. Of course she's gonna look gorgeous and pretty in everything she does. But I do think that it is very similar to, if you guys recall, season 11, Evie Oddly's farm to runway look, which was like the very pretty volcanic princess kind of red, orange, and yellow dress. It just reminded me of this, and the very bottom kind of looks very similar to that. Now, of course, I don't want to compare queens and, you know, what they do season to season, but that's just really what it reminded me of. And the second she walked out, like, that was the first thing I thought, and I just really wanted to share that opinion, and that's what I thought right away. But overall, I do think that she looks gorgeous. I do think they are three completely well put together looks. I do think that she deserved to get high regards, top comments. Overall, really good week for Nikki Doll, and I'm glad that she was able to turn it around from lip syncing last week, and I'm happy that she is here another week. Rock'em Sakura, one of my favorite queens of all time. Now, this first look, I was in love with this wig. The second that the ball popped off her head and she was swinging it around, I was in love. That wig is so amazing. Although, I will say the wig was the most exciting thing about the outfit. From down below, it wasn't that exciting. It was not my favorite thing, but I think the wig kind of sold it for me. It was just one of those things that I was looking at the wig and so focused on that I didn't care what she was wearing down below. It was just fabulous overall. For the second look, besides that her padding is a little bit wonky, I do think that she looks gorgeous. I love that she switched up her makeup and was showing a different side of Rock'em, that she could be just plain beauty. I love the wig. I think that she, again, rich, expensive, looks really fabulous. I think she looks good in gold. She's glittering. For her final look, yes, I did think she looked a bit like a virus, which we're not going to talk about right now. But I mean, I think it's colorful, fun, but it is a little bit all over the place and too much. I was extremely sad to see this happen and that she was getting bad critiques, and that I kind of agreed with them. I felt so awful. It was just a bit all over the place for me. What I do like about it is I do like all the fun colors. I didn't mind the ring skirt on the bottom. I think that was kind of fun. I really like the hair, I really like the makeup, but overall I did agree with saying that it was a bit much. The Widow Von'Du. I love Widow Von'Du. Do not get me wrong, she's one of my favorite queens of this season. I absolutely am in love with her. But I was not in love with these looks. Honey, I was not a fan. The first look to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, she looked good in all three looks. Widow Von'Du, she just looks fantastic all the time. But for the first look, it wasn't my favorite fabric, it wasn't my favorite shape, I don't know, it could have been more. I understand the whole like jockey equestrian thing, but to me it wasn't really as fabulous as I would have liked, and I don't know, the color scheme just wasn't that interesting to me. It was just kind of meh. For the second look, I do think that she looked good, she looked fabulous, she looked like a basketball wife, which was the whole point. But I wasn't really a fan of like the puffy middle, which just kind of like added a weird shape to her body that I didn't really like. I kind of wanted to see those curves. I did really like the sleeves and how they were a bit longer. I thought those were very beautiful. I am a sucker for a dress that has like long sleeves that you can just swing around. I think that's really fun. In terms of her last look, I think this was my favorite look out of the three of them. I really like that giant like bell shape of the balls and how they're stacked up on her head. It kind of reminded me of, just because of the colors and how they're all kind of colors of cat fur, it kind of reminded me of just like yarn balls that cats would play with, and she kind of looked like she was one of those cat towers that cats would just scratch at. I don't know. I wasn't mad at it. I think it's cute, and I was really in love with the look. This was my favorite out of the three. Now, unfortunately, it is time that we talk about this week's lip sync and who went home. Our bottom two is revealed to be Rock'em Sakura and Brita Filter. Now, no words can describe the pain that I felt watching this lip sync and the absolute sadness I felt for Rock'em Sakura. The only face that I could use to describe my feelings for the elimination this episode is... And that's saying something. This was quite a meme though, Aiden Zane. This was absolutely hilarious. I love you. Yeah, but overall, this lip sync just made me really sad. Just seeing Rock'em struggle for the first 30 seconds of the song to get this stupid skirt off of her. But I think that once she got it off, she was just trying so hard to stay there. And I don't think that she was unsuccessful at all. She was pulling out all the stops, all the tricks. It was amazing. I thought it was so cool as soon as she got that skirt off, but it was just so cringy watching that happen in the beginning, and I felt so bad for her. In terms of Britta, I mean, she was funny. She was doing everything she needed to do. Sometimes she was like walking directly in front of Rockham just to cover up whatever trick she was doing, and I thought it was a good strategy. Do I think that the right person won this lip sync? Unfortunately, yes. I do think that Britta did a little bit better than Rockham, just plainly because in the beginning Rockham couldn't get her skirt off, and then Rockham just seemed kind of like desperate, flailing herself around because she was trying so hard and so desperately to be there. Do not get me wrong, I do not think that Rockham should have gone home today. I think that Rockham should still be there in the competition. I absolutely love her, and I was so sad to see her go, especially when she walked off the stage and started crying. I started crying. She was full on wailing as she walked out, and it made me feel awful. This episode's elimination to me really just hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I loved Rockham Sakura since day one, since those promo photos were revealed. I was hoping she would go all the way to the finale, and did I think that she deserved to? Yes, absolutely. She is a wonderful, kind soul. I follow her on all social media. She is such a kind, fun, entertaining person, and I loved everything that she had to offer. And I would have loved to see her for the rest of the season, what she had for these runways and these challenges. I think she would have been super fun. But overall, no hate to Britta. I would have preferred if Rockham would have stayed, but I do think overall Britta did win this lip sync just because she was completely in the zone the entire time and unfortunately did not have any costume mishaps like Rockham did. But overall, Britta's still here for another week, so let's see what she pulls out next week. But that will be all for today's review. In the next episode, it seems that we have a Gaze Anatomy, which is going to be a comedic acting challenge that I could not be more excited for. Like I said in the last one for the improv challenge, I love a good comedic acting challenge. I can't wait to see the queen's acting chops. I can't wait to see what the runway is, and I am super excited to review it with you guys next week. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you go down below, hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content of mine. Again, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Again, wrong sport, but you get the message.